This has become, and you're still kind of blown away from where you started to where it is now?
Yes, I am. People ask me frequently, what is your feelings, what's your reaction now? Almost 30 years down the road. And what does it mean to you? It means a lot more than when we were doing it. Those steps that we took before the league granted us the franchise. And then those early days, we were so busy and so absorbed with all the day-to-day activities that you didn't do a lot of reflecting. But here of late, I'm doing a lot of reflecting, and to think back where we started, where we came from, and to see where Orlando is as a community, it's pretty overwhelming. And then, just the whole area of this new arena. I remember when we built the first one, we thought we had built the Taj Mahal, the finest facility in the world. And 20 years later, we were gone and they destroyed it and blew it up, and here we are in really the finest building in the world. So that to me is kind of mind-blowing stuff. So yes, I am kind of staggered, frankly, John, by where we are and the whole growth and the magnitude of everything we're doing.
When you think about legacy, you'll always be tied to this franchise. You'll be the first Hall of Famer. That'll always be part of your legacy.
I think that means a lot. I think legacy is important. I think after we've left this planet, what are you remembered for? And I hope I will be remembered for coming down here cold turkey and taking the ultimate gamble, walking away from 12 years with the 76ers and my hometown area, and a long list of good things that were going on in Philly, to come down here with no parachute, on basically the word of Jimmy Hewitt, who said, "Bubba, if you come down and head this up, we'll go forward. If you decide to stay in Philly," he said, "we're just going to drop the whole thing." So he put the ball in my court squarely, and I had to make a decision to come down here with no security and the ultimate risk, really. But I was excited about taking that risk and helping to create a team from scratch. I think that's the ultimate challenge, the ultimate joy, really, for anybody in this profession. And you don't get to do it very often. There aren't that many opportunities. So that was the opportunity, and I elected to resign in Philadelphia and leap out of the airplane with no parachute. And those first months were exciting and intense, but also scary when you think about it. We had other cities that were trying to get in and get approved by the league, but there was no assurance of anything, and we kept fighting, and I think we had to fight uphill. We were the little guy on the block, and a lot of people had written us off that we just weren't a big enough market and it wasn't going to happen. Oh, you remember all those rumors. Every day there was another one, about who was leading and who was winning, and doesn't it take just one? Oh, no, maybe two. And we hear that Charlotte is pulled ahead, and all of those. Every day there was another rumor. So we lived with them. And then came the incredible news that the NBA was going to take all four of us. Gary Bettman, the Bettman plan. Well, the Bettman plan wasn't very complicated. 4 times $32.5 million, spread among the owners of the different teams. That Bettman plan was a nice check for all those owners. But when you think about the price, 32.5, and we were staggered by that. NBA teams are now selling for what, 600 million or 580 million or a billion, and we got in at 32.5. It wasn't too long after that Charlotte came back in at 300 million as their expansion fee. So we were very fortunate to have a price that we could afford at that time.
What would 32.5 million get you now? Is that actually
that might pay for your first round draft choice, after a few spots, depending on where he was picked. 32.5 would not get you a whole lot in this business today, but in those days it got us a whole franchise. And originally the sense was it was going to be 25 to get in, but I think the league, the owners, when they saw this clamor among the four of us, they suddenly thought we'll be able to bump that a little bit. probably squeeze a little more out of this, and they did. And they did.
Nick was real emotional over the words Hall of Fame. Well, where are those words in your?
I think it's the ultimate tribute to anybody in this business, whether it's Cooperstown or Canton, Ohio, or Springfield, Massachusetts, or Orlando, Florida, or whatever. I think there's no really higher honor. And I've been blessed here. I think when you get to this point in your life, in your career, to go into the Basketball Hall of Fame, this past fall into the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame, and I mean these are overwhelming honors, really. So to be part of this first class, it means a lot. It means a lot. And it'll mean more down the road. You know, when these grandkids of mine are grown and come visiting here to the arena and see that first trophy there, plaque, that's amazing. So I'm honored by that as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations.
Go get some